everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to day 6 of my holiday card series. I am still playing with products from Concord and 9th, so I'm using the Ornamental die. This die is absolutely stunning. Now it does have the outside of the die as well as several pieces you can inlay in the middle. I'm choosing today to keep all of this together for my card. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a piece of Neenah Solar White 110-pound cardstock as I want my ornament to have a little bit of weight. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, and now you can really see the sections that you can snip out if you don't want them inlaid into your ornament on the first try. I'm leaving mine in there because they're perfectly laid out and I don't have to worry about cutting them wrong. I'm going to place it onto my cutting mat and I'm going to run this through my Gemini Junior. Now since that's done, I can peel this away and you can see there's a gorgeous design that I have already in my ornament. Now this would be perfect on its own, but of course I want to dress this up a little bit. I grabbed out my die cuts with a view washi paper. Now these are like full sheets of washi tape, which is so cool. So I'm going to use the red as I think it would give a nice festive shine and sparkle behind that die cut. And you can see here that the washi paper actually has a clear backing to it. When you go to use this paper, you do need to use another piece of paper to give it some weight. So I'm bringing in another piece of Neenah Solar White 110-pound cardstock, and then I can peel off this washi paper, and it's just like the washi tape that you get on the roll. This just happens to be like a full sheet of it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that backing and then place this over top of that Neenah Solar White paper. I can gently smooth this out. Now I am going to have some of that washi paper left off on the right hand side. I do not want that to go to waste. So I'm going to grab that acetate sheet that it originally came on. I'm going to line that back up and place that down. This way I can have this piece for a different design on another card. I use my rotary knife or my rotary blade just to trim this down, and it cuts like butter, you guys. It's so easy to use. Now since I have that done, I want to have the ornament shape on this background piece as well. So I'm going to grab a pencil and just trace around the ornament. Now if you remove the inner parts of the ornament, you do not have to do this. You can just cut out another ornament. But in my case, I know I'm going to be making several cards a little bit later, so I chose to leave those pieces in there, and I can easily with a pencil just trace out what I need. Now since I have my pencil marks where I need them, I'm just going to grab myself my scissors and I can really just fussy cut this out. Now I am cutting in right on the line, a little bit inside of that line actually, so I don't have a lot hanging over. Once I get this cut out, you see it fits perfectly behind that beautiful die cut. Now to get these two pieces of paper together, I am going to use a wet adhesive on this. I'm using my Gina K Connect glue, and the reason I chose this is I want to have a little bit of wiggle room when I put these two pieces together. I'm going to just fill in several of the areas. I don't have to go too heavy-handed on this, but I do want to make sure that I get enough down that the ornament is going to be flush. And because this washi paper does have a little bit of texture to it, I do want to make sure that I get a good hold on this. So I'll just fill in some of the areas that I have left, and then I can pick up this piece and lay it right on top of that glitter washi paper. Now because that washi paper, like I said, is put on a piece of Neenah Solar White cardstock, it does give it a little bit more weight, and it's going to allow my ornament to sit nicely. Now since I have that all lined up, anything that's hanging out, I can just grab my pair of scissors and trim any of that extra away. And now I have a beautiful glittery ornament with a gorgeous, in my opinion, like sweater design. Absolutely fabulous. I'm going to press this down, but then I'm going to set this aside to dry as I start to work on my sentiment. Now for my sentiment, I am using the Ornamental stamp set, and I'm just going to grab out one of the sentiments from this. So if you do pick up this die, you have a perfect opportunity as well to pick up the matching stamp set, and it is absolutely gorgeous. For my red ink today, I'm using the Catherine Pooler Rockin red ink, and this is going to just add a little bit of that red color on top of the ornament. So I've placed that in my MISTI, and then I'm just going to press down, and I'm going to get a great little strip for my sentiment. Now I did want to cut this out as I don't have the dies for this, but even with or without the dies, it's a very simple shape to cut out. I am going to allow myself to have a little bit of a white border around this, but if you prefer not to have that white border, you can cut directly on the red line. So it's super easy to trim out, and I am going to trim out the fishtail ends of this as well. In order to get that accurately done, I'm going to place my scissors in, and then I'm going to actually turn my paper instead of my scissors to get that good cut. Just remember, anytime you're going around tight corners like this, it's easier to move your paper instead of your scissors to get to a perfect point. So again, I'm just tilting my paper and tilting my scissors, and there I have a perfect strip. Now, out of that stamp set, I decided to use one of the greenery pieces with some Barely Beige ink from Simon Says Stamp. For my card base, I didn't just want it to be stark white. So I did want a nice little design on it, but I didn't want a design that was going to compete too much with that ornament. That ornament has a lot of detail to it, and I just wanted to have a nice soft background for my ornament to land. So I'm stamping this out, and I'm making sure also to go off of the card base, because if this was designer paper, that's exactly what you would have. Your design would run off the paper. So anytime you're making a background, just keep that in mind. I'm going to bring back in my ornament just to see how much area I still need to fill up with those sprigs. So I'll come back in and just fill in a few more areas. Now I don't have to worry about filling in the middle part of my card base because my ornament's going to fill that in nicely. Now I did put my ornament on some double-sided foam tape to pop it up and give my card a little bit of dimension. And look how gorgeous this card is. The last thing I need to do is to put on the sentiment. So I'm going to use some 3M foam tape on this piece as well, so I can have just a tad bit more of dimension to my card. I'll go ahead and peel off the backer to that, and now I'm going to place that right in the middle of my ornament. It's not too big, so it doesn't take up much space. All right, everybody, that is our card for today. So that wraps up day 6. All right, if you guys have missed any of the other days, day 1 through 5, I'll post them up here and you can watch them. Have a great day. Bye-bye.